Welcome back. As we have a little bit of fun, we're going to put some scenarios out there and ask that all-important question, did I do something wrong? We often see ourselves as the chief protagonist in our own narratives, so it can be difficult to be objective when we find ourselves in a disagreement with someone else. So this is when we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, hey, did I do something wrong? Was it me?
Did I do that?
How can you do something wrong with that face, man? So we've poured over a popular Reddit forum, lots of fun, in which people post about very dramatic scenarios and then ask the internet whether they were justified in doing what they were doing in that situation. So let's dive into some of these posts and find out, did I do something wrong? So, gents, I'm going to set the premise for you.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then you guys are going to weigh in and try to be as objective as possible. It's difficult not to kind of apply to a situation in your own life, I find, but let's try and be objective. So today's edition is all about family drama. Ooh, let's drive a stake. Okay, so I'm going to give you the first scenario, okay? And this is an interesting one. Okay, so I'm going to talk now from the perspective of the person who put this post up. I'm 24 and expecting my first child due in mid-May. Congratulations, my family is super excited and has been great throughout my pregnancy, except for my Omar. My Omar had 6 children, 13 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. I'm the youngest of her grandchildren, and all 3 of her great-grandchildren are one of my older cousin's children. Unfortunately, my Omar discovered this cousin disowned this cousin several years ago, so she considers my child to be her first great-grandchild. Okay, so no pressure. I'm plus size, while my Omar is smaller, and being a product of her upbringing, my Omar is incredibly fat-phobic and will always be sure to point out my size or weight at family gatherings. Now, she is still commenting on my size, but it's mostly like, when I was pregnant, I stayed skinny and things of that nature. So I had my baby shower on Saturday, and of course, everybody wanted to touch my bump and take pictures. I'm not a huge fan of being touched in general, but I didn't complain until my Omar came to take a picture and then commented on how much weight I had gained, around 9 kilograms. And when she tried to touch my stomach, I told her not to touch me. She looked shocked and tried to touch my stomach again. I clapped her hand away and told her firmly no. And she threw a fit, saying everybody else got to take a picture touching my bump and it wasn't fair to her. I told her that everybody else hadn't commented on my weight. She stormed off, close to tears. Now, my family is saying it was rude of me to exclude her, and they're saying I should apologize. Did I do something wrong?
Ooh, interesting.
That's loaded. It's loaded, guys.
I must just say, though, like, none of us can speak for the fact of bringing a child into this world on our own. Obviously, your partner's done that. So, like, you can't really determine how someone deals with their pregnancy, especially the hormonal changes you're going through. Like, you deserve to pick up whatever weight you want to in that process. As long as you're doing that incredible thing, creating a baby, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's your drama. I mean, you can be angry with yourself if you haven't been living according to whatever plan you set out when you're pregnant. But it begs the question, because this happens with pregnant women all the time. I'm fault for doing this pre-COVID. As soon as you see a pregnant belly, you just want to touch. It's like wired in our brain
gravitated towards the
to do that. But let's talk about Omar's feelings here.
What do you think that was the appropriate moment to bring that up for Omar? Because I feel like there were many opportunities before that big day to kind of have that conversation.
I get a sense of Omar's pretty set in her ways. I don't think telling Omar, listen, you're upsetting me because of, I don't think it would have made a difference. Carl, how do you feel?
There are many things I feel. but the first thing is, don't ever lift your hand. You can set up your boundaries without lifting a hand. Slapping a hand away, especially in that forum, is massive disrespect. And the thing is that when you
turning Omar into a 3-year-old child by doing that.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think that it's very important for you to not lift your hand. You can set up your boundaries and verbalize whatever you feel without lifting a hand. That's what I'm saying. Furthermore, I'd say that the emotional intelligence that one needs to practice with grandparents is a lot higher. Because if you think about it for a second, you do understand that they are going to be set in their ways. As you said, the old dogs will never be taught new tricks per se, but still set up your boundaries so that that is in place, definitely. But at the same time, there are some fights that you don't need to pitch up to. Especially with them.
Yeah, and also sometimes you just can't not get into it with family. Sometimes you've got to do it. So we've had some comments weighing in as well. So this one coming from Albany says, first of all, you had to tell your Oma years ago that you don't like the way she speaks about your weight. My mom was the same. She always had something nasty to say to me until I told her at a family gathering that I would appreciate it if she didn't. Maybe that's the way to go about this. Beat them at their own game.
Yeah.
And just if your grand's constantly doing that in, well, public, I say, within the space of the family, then maybe you need a tit for tat, you know?
Well, you know, I'm not a tit for tat fan. I'd say with the grandparents, if they want to say something, let them say it. You know, you can reframe it in your own head. If you're going to internalize, I feel like it's going to be sort of an indictment on your own space. You deserve to protect it in a lot of ways. So I'm going to say, do set up your boundaries and say something. If you need to, express it. Don't lift your hand to your family.
Exactly.
That's not going to be a very good example. And then furthermore, sometimes you have to take a breath. And as I said, you don't have to pitch up to every fight you're invited to.
Yeah, especially when it comes to family. Pick your battles. We've got another juicy family drama scenario coming your way.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yeah, I must say, welcome back, first of all. I think this is the perfect chair to have these kind of discussions.
You're not going to leave.
I feel very judgmental sitting in this chair. It is good sometimes to question our moral compass from time to time to ensure that it's still intact. Hopefully it is. And we are discussing whether people were in the right or wrong in some pretty dramatic family-related scenarios. And we decide then, did I do something wrong? This one is going to be interesting, guys, because you're going to be putting yourself in the position of our protagonist. Yeah, I guarantee it. So let me set the tone for you.
Bring it.
Okay, so this is the story that we found. I recently found out that my estranged grandfather left me a large amount of money for tertiary education and for everyday life. Long story short, he stopped talking to my mom when she decided to continue dating my dad, eventually marrying him. My mom died when I was very young. We never heard from him, even after some family and friends tried to contact him about my mom's death. Major strike there. I've never met him before. Apparently, he left me a lot of money in his will. I guess he felt guilty. Although this money would set me up debt-free in my med school and help me live comfortably for a few years afterwards, I don't want to accept it. He was cruel to my mom. She begged to see him on her deathbed, and he never came. Not even to her funeral. I don't know why he refused, but he did. So my dad said I should take the money despite what happened between him and my mom and my grandfather. I don't want to because it would feel like I'm betraying my mom's memory. My dad can't afford to send me to med school. I could try for scholarships, but it's not a guarantee. I'll be wrong if I didn't take the money. I don't know. This may cause some financial hardships for my dad if I don't. Did I do something wrong? I'm going to kick this one off and say, yeah, take the money, girl. Take the money. It's a difficult one because it is a very emotional, and she's obviously tied this into the memory of her mom and feels that she would be betraying that memory. And I would be very much the same. Loyalty first. Hands down, the most important kind of pillar in my kind of makeup. I get that completely. But this is her future. This is an opportunity for her to unlock, and I can guarantee you, what would her mom want for her? To go to med school, achieve her potential, and do that. So that's how I feel.
It's almost like the narrative of the phoenix for me, rising from the ashes. Literally, there's this situation that is potentially negative, but yet you have the opportunity to create a silver lining out of this and say, well, look, maybe the current legacy that was left behind with my grandfather wasn't as positive for me, but I have the opportunity in my generation to change that and create something positive out of that. I don't think you're doing anything wrong when you're looking out for yourself. And
but don't we all sit and dream about this happening to us? Someone leaving us a lot of money?
That's straight answer, put the money in the bank.
Yeah, at least twice a day I think about this happening to me, yeah?
But I just feel that we get to choose, and we get to choose to reframe our situations. And if you want to have something having that weight of the money on that, I don't think it's something that you should be doing. You can reframe it and say that this person was terrible to my family, but the collateral beauty is that they left me money so I can create prosperity and generational wealth for prosperity in the future.
Right the wrong.
Maybe that's where the grandfather was left at a point in life where he didn't have the emotional intelligence or the language to be able to express himself. This is the only way he knows how. Well, we've got some cool comments. Let's take a look at one of those.
All right. Jeanette's grandfather had no morals, and even after his death, he tries to manipulate the situation. Be proud of the legacy your mom left behind and turn his old fool's money down. You will and can survive as you have done so without his help so far.
Jeanette taking a stand there.
Hey, she brought her two suitcases right in the door with her there. Here's my baggage. I'll add that to yours. It is a very tough one. I can't help but put myself in her shoes because I am like that. I am like a loyal person, and it would really grate me to know that this is what he had put my mom through. But come on, it's med school.
Yeah,
yes, it is indeed. I'd say collateral beauty. There's prosperity in there. You don't have to give it the weight of your grandfather's wrongs.
Oh, complete, man. Well, what do you think? Who do you think is wrong or right in these scenarios? Let us know. Maybe you've been through something similar in your own life. Let us know on our social media pages how you're feeling. Did I do something wrong? I can tell you right now, you're going to feel like you are doing something wrong because you're going to feel so guilty at the amount of pleasure you're about to derive from this next performance. But you're not. You're not doing anything wrong. It's so wrong, it's right.